in my mind, talk about the elephant in the room. We thought we were getting the game of the year this week, and I think we did. It was in the right conference. It was in the right week, but it was with the wrong game in my mind. I think the LSU Bama game was probably the most exciting game that I've seen. Now, Bama's been involved in two great games this year, and unfortunately, it's the loss on both their sides. Brian Kelly, we talked about it on Five for Friday. Or I'm sorry, on our Saturday show, we talked about it. We thought that this LSU team was 1 year out.
Mm-hmm.
I might not think that way anymore. After watching how they took care of Bama, watching Alabama struggle against LSU's defense for the most part, Brian Kelly has got this LSU Tigers team in a very good spot, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I think that his system is more consistent. I think it's clicking, on all cylinders more consistently than I think a lot of us thought. Because I mean, Brian Kelly does have a rather distinct and sophisticated system. So I thought, I certainly thought, and I think you agreed that it might take them some time. There'd be some inconsistency, and I think earlier in the year that was the case. There was some inconsistency, but LSU. I mean, Brian Kelly, in my mind, won Coach of the Year strictly by going for two in the first overtime. That was, I mean, in that environment, in prime time. I mean, yes, it was home. It doesn't matter. I mean, in that situation, and I don't think he hesitated for a nanosecond. He was going to go for two. He had it in his mind where, if we score, and Alabama scores and we score, we're going for two. Gutsy move, courageous move, whatever, whatever, descriptive word, adjective you want to add to it, that's fine. But LSU at home proved its worth and proved to the rest of the SEC, okay, you need to pay attention to us now, and good luck sleeping during the offseason.
That 2-point conversion decision by Brian Kelly absolutely tells me that he's doing everything right in his first year as a program. Mm-hmm. That speaks more than just winning that football game. That speaks that he has trust in his players. He will show that he has faith in his offense and his players. And that speaks volume to the recruiting trail, if you will. And he just probably won a few battles for not just winning that game, but the way he won that football game. When he came into LSU, obviously he had some great success in Notre Dame. Couldn't get the final thing done. Couldn't win the college football playoffs, the national championship. He made it a few times, but a few times in a row that he went that far, he lost to Nick Saban. He is quoted in the offseason to state, "I want to beat Nick Saban." Who doesn't want to beat Nick Saban? You know what I mean? ? We know exactly what you mean now because we just saw it. And regardless of what else happens for LSU for the rest of the year, they're set up to head to the SEC championship game right now. But whatever happens, this is an absolute winning season for Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers. This is something that was definitely not expected to start year one, especially after what we saw them struggle against a Florida State team week one. And they lost against Tennessee, which we have seen that they have now been exposed, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But this LSU team is well on their way to being a team that we talk about for a very long time. Many are going as far as saying that Alabama's dynasty is on the decline and it might even be over. I don't know if I think that far yet. I think that we're still going to be paying attention to Alabama for a very long time. But this SEC West is going to be very tough for a long time, and it's probably going to be headlined by Alabama and the LSU Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama's one of those teams that if they go 10-2, they're having a bad year. They didn't go undefeated. There are just programs like that, and even in pro sports, you have teams that they won all these games, the Dodgers or whatever team it might be, but but they had a bad this or a bad that. I mean, Alabama's not going anywhere. Okay, this is just going to be one of those years. I don't want to say it's a resetting year because I don't think Alabama tried to do that.
Yeah,
but what I really took away from this, and again, Young had a great game, but Jaden Daniels, big game performance in a big game. He didn't have gaudy, flashy numbers, but He made the passes when he needed to. He ran the ball when he needed to. He did everything he could to get that team. When we were talking about Tennessee, Georgia, we were talking about Hooker willing the Volunteers potentially past Georgia. That's what Jaden Daniels here. So I say I don't have any stickers. I mean, I guess I could,
There you go.
Virtual sticker there on my head. What a performance! What a thing! And that, I mean, I was shocked when because I wasn't watching the game, and when you had sent a message to me, I was like, I guess I really need to start watching this game now because I was, because you had said LSU just went ahead, and then of course Alabama tied it. Everything you could have wanted out of this game happened, including, and again, Bama fans, I don't hate you. Okay. We just need the talk of 3 SEC teams in the college football playoff to die. Unfortunately, the Crimson Tide had to fall on the sword and have that gut punch in order to put that beast to rest.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that we are far away from 3 teams heading to the college football playoffs. I don't even think we're going to get 2 in the SEC this season. Alabama, I think, is out. We have never seen a 2-loss team head to the college football playoffs. I think if any year we get a 2-loss team, it could happen this year just based off the upsets we saw last week. We might run out of 1-loss teams that are quote unquote deserving in the eyes of the committee. Not in our eyes, but in the eyes of the committee. Right. So I don't see it happening, though. I'm going to go on record that if you have 2 losses, you're not making it. So keep that in mind. We talked about, can Alabama get the run done? Gibbs was supposed to be an X factor. He didn't surpass 100 yards. There's only a total rushing of 137 yards for Bama. LSU got the job done. And Bryce Young struggled at first, I would say. I don't think he was completely 100%. I think that the fact that, and I'm not sure if it really had anything to do with the pain in his shoulder, but I think that the limited reps, he didn't do anything in the bye week. And then they spoke about the limited reps he had in practice, only 25 throws per game or per day in practice. That's got to really be an issue, just getting your timing down and maybe have some mental, just mistakes. And I think he made a few. Thankfully, it didn't result in a lot of turnovers, only 1 turnover by Alabama, which it was a costly one in the opening drive that did set the tone for LSU. This game was a great game. I don't know if I thought this game was better than the Tennessee Bama game. I'd have to say yes, because it went to overtime. It was just, it was more of a grind. Tennessee game was just completely just air raided every single time. Mm-hmm. So I would say this is a better game of the year. So game of the year so far till next week. No way is there going to be 3 SEC teams. And that is exactly because of what we saw as well in the other SEC match. The game that we thought was going to be the game of the year did not turn into it.